This next video focuses on multiplying and dividing integers. Most of you are fairly familiar with multiplying and dividing integers that have the same sign, like 2 times 3 is 6. But now we've been working with integer rules using positive and negative signs, and it's very important that you do not get your multiplying integer rules confused with your adding and subtracting integer rules. So first, let's go over what our integer rules are for multiplying and dividing. And you've all heard this. Anytime you multiply a positive number with another positive number, you will get a positive solution. If you multiply a negative number times a negative number, you will get a positive solution. So anytime the signs are the same for the two numbers that you're multiplying together, it will give you a positive solution. At the same time, if you multiply a negative number times a positive number, that will result in a negative solution. Or a positive number times a negative number will also result in a negative solution. So looking at problem 1, here's how this works. Before we even worry about solving the value of the numbers, we can look at a negative and a positive number if they're being multiplied together. So our resulting solution should be a negative answer. And since 8 times 9 is 72, our resulting answer will be negative 72. Number 2 is a perfect example of our negative times a negative equals a positive. We have a negative 2 integer. We have a negative 16 integer. And so 2 times 16 is 32. And then we want to remember our integer rule for multiplying. 2 negatives results in a positive. So our solution will be positive. And 32 by itself is positive, but I will just go ahead and put a positive sign here just as a reference and for memory. Now let's look at 1 down a little bit lower. Problem 14 has a little bit of mixed steps, and we have to be very, very careful to follow our order of operations. I know it's very natural for you to want to start at the left and do 16 minus negative 4, which here we have an adding and subtracting integer rule, minus a negative, that becomes a positive. So we would have 16 plus 4. Sorry, 16 plus 4, I had 4 stuck in my head, 20. But we can't go and then take 20 plus 8 because we have an operation that requires us to multiply these two items first. And so within our order of operations, I'm going to follow that rule. So 8 times negative 3. And here I have a positive integer and a negative integer. And as we just discussed, a positive integer times a negative integer will result in a negative solution. So 8 times 3 is 24, and that is a negative solution. So now I have a positive 20 plus a negative 24. Our final solution would be negative 4. Hopefully this helps you to understand multiplying and dividing integers when dealing with negative values.